All right. You hear me okay?
Yeah. Is everything okay over there? Uh-oh. Can't hear you now.
Of course, I get a call exactly as I'm trying to sound check, so I don't know if I can hear anything for a few more seconds. All right, let's see.
You're back. You're back. Thanks for reminding me to set my do not disturb on there.
I know, man. And it literally was on like the dot 2 p.m. I get a call. I'm like, what? You're messing with my vibes.
Well, the fact that you have vibes at 2 p.m., that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, well, we've been trying. Yeah, man, we're keeping it together. So it's a little bit scattered today. We woke up, there was no power on at the house. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's get our backup plan going. We're well prepared for this type of thing. Start up the generator, get the Starlink going, and then of course, like, ran out of petrol because someone used all of the all of the petrol on the lawnmower. So we only had a few hours of that. So I'm calling from my car with the air conditioning on because it's summertime here.
How much grass do you have? That's a lot of gas.
Well, I think it was just not. Yeah, it's a good point. We don't have a lot of grass, but enough to dwindle away, and then you're like, yeah. This is the backup. This is the backup gas can. You know, you're not supposed to use this, but obviously the family, the girls who were trying to help, they've used it up without telling me. I filled up the wrong one, and that's
And it's
gone.
they're doing you a favor. You don't want you don't want gas to go stale. It needs to be
That's
used.
right.
I mean, the year is the max you want to hold on to any kind of type of gas, gasoline, petrol, whatever the cool people call it down there.
Yeah, well, it's because here diesel's quite a thing. I have a truck that runs on diesel. It's actually cheaper. So you've got petrol and diesel here. You guys just have gas. You're the gas, capital of the world. So just one thing.
Man, don't get me started. I'm gonna start talking passive income opportunities here if you start talking to me about gas, because there is a big difference between pumping out here in the U.S. and other places around the world.
Oh yeah. Well, what's funny, it reminds me. I mean, I hope you don't mean stockpiling gas because I remember that episode of Always Sunny in Philly where they thought there'd be a gas crisis and they started buying gas. Such a good episode.
Oh no. I actually have a high school buddy of mine that wasn't in that show. You just reminded me of that. I need to touch base with Kevin.
Wow. Amazing. What's he doing these days?
Probably some weird thing, some random show in the middle of nowhere that nobody's ever heard about.
Right.
Talk about love, like he loves being. When you love being an actor or doing something special, like it doesn't matter where you're at. You're like, I just want to do this. It's my passion project.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I heard
You're kind of
I
like
heard somebody that did that. It's like,
yeah.
you're not making any money. You're not, like really profiting a lot from this thing, but you still want to do it. And then Corey says, yes, I'm going to build this browser.
It's my pet project. Don't get in my way.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, hey man, big day in crypto. Kevin knows. He must be watching.
Man, here's the deal though. Like, is it a big day or is it just par for the course? This is just what we expected. Because here's my public service announcement for the space. Please hold your own Bitcoin. Do not buy into an ETF. That's for people that don't know what crypto is at all and like to pay fees to randos who sell paper.
1 second. I'm trying to decline.
This is so fun.
Can't be this urgent. Jeez.
I mean, I feel special. I gotta say, if you're declining that, I definitely feel special, and everybody else listening in should too. There you go. He did the whole mute thing, but I was just saying, like, please don't buy into an ETF. Please buy Bitcoin if you're going to do that. Like, self-custody is where it's at. You actually own it, and it's not somebody else's wallet that's holding on to what should be rightfully yours. Somebody bellies up, something else happens. It's not yours. Like, seriously, it really is. And the fees, man. Like, if you take a look at the fee structure for some of these things, it's wild. Like, you know how much it costs for you to hold your own Bitcoin? Nothing.
Well, exactly. If you practice the right security. So you notice our spaces today, we've got freedom, right? But like anything, with freedom comes responsibility. So, I think that's a good little thing to touch on today is that, mask, what our tech stack's supposed to be doing for people is not only educating them, but giving them the tools to take privacy into their own responsible daily practices, whether that comes down to interacting with wallets, interacting with websites, custodying your funds, whatever. And you notice that nothing in Mask is custody either. So we don't want to delve into that. But if anyone was reading between the lines in terms of just a little bit more on the ETF thing, do you know who the custodian is of, I think, 7 or 8 out of the 11 ETFs? Do you know what company's custodying the Bitcoin?
Good old Coinbase.
Right. And if you were noticing all that preparation, if you were in TardFi still, I still have some of my tentacles in TardFi. You should be, you would be stacking some Coinbase shares,
Oh man, I already have a lot of that.
In a way, I did it to stiff Gary. I was like, listen, he doesn't want me to buy crypto and all that jazz. Fine. I'm going to buy as much as I can that isn't in crypto funds. I'm going to put a bunch into Coinbase just to stick it to him because one day Coinbase is going to be the main player. And look what happens. They're custodying almost all of the Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. And I mean, if we're going to make this a space about, we're going to talk about Gary, I'd love to share some of his insights because he does have some great insights about keeping your stuff secure, right? Make sure that you're using strong passphrases and passwords. Use a multi-factor authentication on your accounts and keep account alerts turned on.
Make sure you secure your X account against some random person's cell phone number, just in case, in case you're indisposed.
We've talked about this here before, haven't we?
Oh my God! The funniest thing is he's going to be memeified. I was just driving to a couple places today, thinking about the spaces today, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't even know how many kids he has, but I literally do feel bad for his children now because there's going to be a whole generation of millionaires growing up around his kids, and he's memeified. It's like Gen Z is now Gensler's Gensler generation. Everyone's going to be rich because of this clown, like trying to be against it.
100%. And like, I mean, I know all these details because I've had deep dive conversations about, Gary before. He's got 3 daughters too many. That's what I'll say.
Wow. So his line will be strong, I suppose.
I guess so. He is a
hell of a dancer, though. Have you seen footage of him dancing? I mean, he's going to dance around this whole hack thing, too, but on his feet, he's a hell of a dancer for a guy his age.
Really? I did not know.
Do yourself a favor, hop into Mask Browser, go on to pre-search, and search Gary Gensler dancing. You will be impressed.
Wow. Okay. This is going to be something else, huh? My wife is going to be like...
I'm waiting for someone to memeify that.
I hope this is... Wow. Yeah. I see what you're talking about here. See, this is the sort of thing that I need to be careful. Like, these are the types of searches that my wife would question. Like, this is why you should not look at my web histories. Just why? Yeah. Why are you searching for Gary Gensler dancing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially just make sure you put Gary, because otherwise Gensler dancing, she might be like, what type of dancing is this? Like, I want to make sure this is PG.
Too funny, man. But you're right. This is something else.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of history-wise, like, it's amazing to see this finally happen, Like the whole saying goes, first they go against you, then they... I don't know exactly what the saying is, it is, but it comes in stages. Like first they attack you, then they, try and stop you, and then they join you. It's like, wow, look at where we're at. Only took 14 years. Oh, you might be muted, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, 14 years. It's kind of wild, like how quickly this went by. I mean, I get the 14 years. It is a long time, but at the same time, like I feel like it was yesterday that I was, having a conversation with my brother and going, hey, you know about Bitcoin? I'm like, what about Bitcoin? Like, I heard about it. Let's mine it. Let's mine it together. And like doing the whole shebang with, CPUs, GPUs back in the day, like we should buy, another computer just to mine this. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And then casually utilizing 10 plus machines that did not belong to me to mine away for a while.
That's right. Oh man. I think the key is looking back, if you were ever to hold on to any digital asset like Bitcoin or even all these others, there's thousands of coins now, like I wonder if anyone really did have the conviction to hold from something like $10 to 40,000 or 60,000. Like who has that strength to hold that long and not sell and gain that much percent? There's not a lot of people in the world that would do that, really.
Very
Unless you
true.
forgot about it.
That would have been
Forced
that would have
totally.
been me. That would have been me, man. But unfortunately, I lost all that early, all those early tokens. My whole thing is that like I want to mine this thing so I can use it. Like I want to spend it. I want to like actually transact
Yeah.
with it. Like I was excited to see this thing be like the next type of currency that we use day in day out. Like so much so that I have it. I do have some history of like literally what 9 years ago buying games online with Bitcoin. And like I'd be embarrassed to tell you how much I paid for some of these, third party like indie games, but I was just excited to be able to be part of something cool and be able to, use a token that I mined to buy this stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like I found some of my old accounts. This was a couple of weeks ago. I was going through. I'm like, man, like with this one little computer that I had, like, and this was like at the very beginning. I was like, I mined 3 Bitcoin with that computer alone. Like it was just, it's
Yeah.
wild to look back and see like the things that were happening and how far we've come.
Yeah, I mean, as it feels to look at like, oh, if I'd kept that, but like if you think about it, all the people that, and this goes for a lot of tokens and coins and digital assets, but like if people weren't using it, like they thought, okay, this is, just cool to use. I'm going to use it for some daily stuff. I'm not trying to hold it for 10,000x or whatever. It wouldn't have gained the same type of adoption if no one actually tried to use it daily. So that was all part of the journey.
Exactly, and that's the cool thing about crypto in my mind. I like it's not just an idea. It's here and it's something you can use. It's something you can mine away with. There's not only value because people like it. There's value because there's utility behind it. Well, most tokens. Well, not most tokens. The ones that matter. Let me put it that way. The ones that matter. And like I'll give you an example. Your Dogecoin back in the day, like I really loved Dogecoin, the old school Dogecoin, because the purpose behind it was to give it away to other people. I literally mined Doge so I could give it away. That was the purpose, and I had a great time doing it. So it might be a meme coin, but at the same time, the purpose behind it was to just encourage others to do good, and it was a great time. What I want to see is what's next. Especially for Mask, because Mask, rewards you for sharing good, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why we've I think tied together the themes today with Bitcoin and Mask. Like the thing is, I think Mask can give you that extra layer of privacy. Just talking about this stuff, current, like today's news, is now that we've got these a big scene set that Bitcoin's going to enter more strongly into the, I guess, not saying TardFi in a bad way, but just the traditional finance area. Now it's got a more formal entry into that world. People are going to need to know how to keep their data and their user profile safe. You need to know how to introduce privacy tools so you don't just ignorantly give away your identity, right? Because you've seen it all over when anyone, and it's true, when anyone says, oh, Bitcoin's just for hackers, scammers, and people buying stuff on the dark web. Well, it is
Drugs.
But yeah, drugs. Yeah, it's all about the drugs, the hucksters and the scammers, right? In the words of Gary. But if you never reveal your wallet and you never somehow tag your geolocation to something you do with Bitcoin on a site that then can pass it on, you actually can have relative anonymity with Bitcoin as it was designed. And only the person you're transacting with necessarily needs to know where it's come from. So you can keep reasonable anonymity as long as you do, you're not doing anything bad, I mean, which most of us aren't, you should be able to do that. But if you're not aware of how to do that in lots of ways, it's easy to mess that up. And then, of course, you accidentally leak one wallet. Well, now anyone can look at that history and see your transactions, so you got to be aware of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that I don't want to endorse Tornado Cash or anything like that here, but a lot of times, like I've made the mistake of leaking wallets that I didn't mean to leak. It's something that happens. So beyond that, you got to be aware of not only your history, but also how in the world are you actually browsing some of these things? How are you actually getting around the internet as it stands? Because it's only gonna get worse. I mean, great, we got Bitcoin ETF, it's out. Bitcoin is going to pump. What do you think is next? Like, you think government's going to stick around and going, well, especially in the U.S., like, yeah, we're just going to let people do whatever they want. It's okay. Or are they going to try to say, we want our cut. We need to speed up whatever it is that we need to do to make sure that we are getting our fair share. And their fair share, man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of fat in the system, man. And that's how the whole system is designed, is you have a plethora of middlemen who are all regulated. They all get a cut, and then they skim the top. That's all that. And then anyone on the end, they got to pay tax on the end as well if they're making profits. So, hey, it's much easier to tax a shitload of Bitcoin that's in custody because they know where it is and who holds it. If all these family offices and money that wants to buy Bitcoin but doesn't want to deal with custody, if they all did go through self-custody, how does Uncle Sam and Uncle Gary know who's got what? How do we make them pay income tax, inheritance tax, capital gains? Very hard to control. So it's no surprise that the biggest digital asset and the first OG ever created, it's going to go down this path one day. So it's inevitable. It was inevitable.
Yeah, they're just adding one more item to tax, right? Because ultimately, you get taxed like 7 different ways before, by the time you're actually like done, with your stuff. So you think, oh yeah, my tax bracket is only 20%. Yeah, you look a little bit deeper between all the sales tax and, here in where I'm at is just wild. Like right off the income tax, you get about half of what you make in California, which is just ludicrous. Like it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, and then you add all the other stuff, right? The sales tax and the property taxes and everything else like that. Like you're ultimately just getting a fraction of what you should have earned originally. And yeah, I mean, that's why people are really, really loving what's happening down in Argentina.
Yeah, it's. I'm not. I don't think we'll see the end of that as well. But yeah, I digress. Bitcoin big day today. What does that mean for the space? I think it legitimizes it a bit more to all the generation that has been saying it's all for nefarious means and stuff like that. So people can look at all the nerds now and say, well, maybe they were onto something. Maybe crypto won't be a bad word for a little while, which is nice. It goes for a lot of tech. Yeah. So it's a good entry to the year. And so starting off the year too for Mask, I mean, we've got some good things already rolling. We came out with a new release, which I hinted at last week, on schedule nicely. Hopefully everyone's trying out the new draggable window component. That was kind of a big piece to finish because now that shows how we can evolve the user experience within the browser. So users can have widgets they can drag around, resize, open, close, minimize, customize, and then of course our partners can exist as widgets, which are little windows that you can move around. And if you have a big monitor, a big screen, you could literally have Mask widescreen, full screen, and have multiple things going on, which is cool. And it's all with the privacy by default. A few cool breakthroughs we had this week I wanted to mention, because this won't be as long of a space as we normally host, but just to get some of those cool things out there for those listening. We got gifted from a wonderful, wonderful supporter, believer of the Mask vision, and someone who obviously really likes our tech. We were gifted the Mask handshake domain. And that's a big deal because, funnily enough, I think a lot of things that happened to me and as a project lead and Mask kind of works out as fate. And I know people don't want to hear that and say, oh, he's like some weird spiritual guru guy or believes in all this stuff. But I do believe good things happen for the right reasons. And it was funny because under the radar, I've been talking with Handshake directly for at least a month about partnership. So it's kind of nice that this has all happened at a happenstance, but we have our Handshake domain. We're looking at integrating that deeply into the Mask browser ecosystem and the ecosystem at large as a Mask protocol. And I'll share here that we have done some light testing on having Handshake domains resolving normally through the Mask browser and the Mask network. So we know it works. So really, that's as uncensorable as it gets. If anyone hasn't looked up Handshake, have a look at it. They've been around for a while. They're actually one of the OGs in terms of decentralization. And a short, not to get too nerdy, so stop me if Nerd Dad comes out action. But basically, they forked Bitcoin and made their own blockchain, but it's existing to manage domains. And it could be domains that are fully decentralized and proven ownership. You don't need to rely on our old school ICANN domain system where there's one gatekeeper that says, hey, you guys own Mask AI, and that's fine. You don't have to talk to them or anyone to buy one. You can manage it. So it's pretty cool. That is massive. And what we're looking to do has never been done in a browser before. I can say that with confidence because I'm hearing it from Handshake themselves. What our plan is with them, hopefully we can achieve it this quarter, is to do something that no browser can offer with Handshake, which is pretty cool.
So you're talking about DNS resolve within the browser itself? Like the browser actually talks to the Handshake network to figure this stuff out?
So the nerd concept, or not, I shouldn't say in a bad way, this is like the techie slang, is it's something called stateless DANE, DANE. And basically that means you can query the public Handshake blockchain to secure the certificate that the domain you're asking for is legit. And it's its own security chain, but you don't need to run a client within the browser for Handshake. You don't need to connect to other servers. You just work off a provable source on chain. And then you can resolve, just like TLS resolves the certificate for, like if I go to Mask AI, my browser will tell me, yes, this is the right site. It's secure. Here's the certificate. We're going to do that trustlessly without querying anything besides the on-chain. It's never been done in a browser, as far as we know.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I know how that stuff works, but like I was trying to say the DNS thing to break it down a little bit easier for people. So essentially, when you put in your domain names, it doesn't know what it actually is. Like it just looks for the IP address that domain points to and tries to resolve it that way. So this is a whole new thing.
Yeah. So essentially, it'll go to the the public ledger for Handshake and say, okay, this domain, Handshake domain exists, and we've got like 4 confirmations or however many minimum is needed for consensus to say, yes, this is a secure key or certificate. And then the browser will say, okay, that's actually where I'm going. This is legit. This is secure. And it takes you there. And it all happens under the hood like instantly, which is cool. Like, a lot of the browsers using it now, they need to go through more centralized means. Not that they're all bad. They're just sort of hybrid solutions where you're going through someone who's using like a proxy or resolver service, like a DNS server, which is a central point that first asks, hey, is this legit domain site and certificate? Yes. Okay, cool. Which is our traditional way, DNS servers, which we use now, like Cloudflare and stuff like that. This way is moving to like full decentralized mode. We're going to do it progressively, and we're just in some early chats now, but working under the hood, which is super cool, man. It's super exciting, and I know I've said it before in other spaces, but I'm still just humbled by the fact that I'm talking to like founders of projects like this they've been existing twice as long as Mask, and they're saying, wow, you guys are like really doing some amazing stuff. Like, let's work together. And like, I'm not trying to chase people now. Please, can you partner with us? They're like, hey, let's partner. Like, some of these people are reaching out to us and they respect what we're doing. And it's amazing. We're not paying for these partnerships. Like, they're just happening organically for all the right reasons. So I can't be more excited to start the year with something like that. They've got a very big community too. So once we start making formal stuff publicly, the gears will start moving faster.
Right. And like I said, all of this stuff is, man, just a matter of time once people start catching on. You're dead on. I had a conversation with a few marketing firms over the last, I want to say, 3 weeks or so for some other projects, and they are desperate. And what they're desperate for are projects that are actually building something, because they're like, man, I'm so just tired of like having to show stuff that's garbage. And they're like, this is like, if there's a real project with real things happening, we would love to partner. We'd love to like work with you guys. Just because most of the stuff that they're having to deal with is not the best. And unfortunately, that's the state of affairs right now in crypto, right? There is, trust, a little bit more trust now with this whole ETF thing. But what we need to see more are projects like Mask that are doing things right. And it's exciting to, to see that the DApp store growing in this sense, just because now we can say, oh yeah, Mask is here, but so are so many other platforms and exchanges and games and wallets, maybe.
Yeah, I hinted at it last week, and it really has a lot of really cool little breakthroughs have happened in the last 2 weeks. And one is that, yes, we did a little demo build for a browser I've mentioned before. It is working really well. We're very actually impressed that it didn't have as much hiccups as we thought. And we're looking at getting that, all integrated. Shout out to one of our contributors who is working on that at the last few months, actually, behind the scenes to get it all ready to test. And this is kind of like a little opening for a lot of extensions that we were wanting to try and integrate that were just having a few little blockers on the technical side. We're finding that we've managed to work with that, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm hoping in one of the next versions or two, everyone will see a new browser wallet extension, one that's well known in the space. And preferably our intent is to move away from MetaMask as a default. It'll still be in there because they have OG status and obviously there's good things about them, maybe not in line with what we are building, but we still don't want to like remove an option that most people are familiar with or very comfortable using and then make it harder for them to get used to a browser where they don't have what they're used to. So we'll gently introduce these things. But we're super excited. That's like a really nice breakthrough as well to start the year. And again, we're not even 2 weeks into the year. It's nice to see some of these things that actually have been a couple months in the making kick things off. So we'll be announcing something like that soon too. Just waiting to hear from their team.
That's phenomenal, because I think right now we only have 2 wallets in the system, right? I think Frame was in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got MetaMask by default. We've got Frame, which is my personal daily wallet. In fact, I made it, I think I mentioned that a lot of times last year. I made it my 2023 resolution to never touch MetaMask again. And I'm pretty sure I achieved that. My go-to wallet 100% of the day, any day, is Frame. I really like it. And that's in there. It's actually the browser itself. Integration is just an extension that talks to the wallet. So the Frame wallet sits on your desktop. So a little bit of a show for them. I really like them. We've got Send wallet in there as well. And they're just like a nod to some good friends who are builders in the space, but also for Pocket, which we're looking to further integrate for their tech to decentralize RPC calls. That's more privacy for the users in the Mask ecosystem. And so we want to make that a little bit more of bigger of a list. So we're going to have something that's like a direct drop-in replacement for MetaMask. Frame's got a little bit of a learning curve. It's not as familiar to most people or easy to use, maybe without a bit of practice. So we want something that's equally as easy to get used to, multi-chain and all that. So there's a few big players we're we're doing. So there's a few. And so hopefully you'll have a choice of like 4 or 5, and then some other ecosystem wallets dropped into from the likes of other blockchains, which would be nice.
Likes of other blockchains. That's, I mean, what does that mean? What blockchains are we talking about here?
Yeah,
I'm trying.
The alpha is there for those that seek.
I am trying.
No, you're good. I'm sure everyone here is like, yes, action. Squeeze that juice, man. Squeeze it. Get it out.
Oh man, you know what? You actually said that it looks really nice on a really wide screen. I have a Samsung G9. I'm actually I just got a new computer. I'm actually reinstalling some stuff right now, and I want to get a screenshot of this thing because you're right. It looks really nice having all of this stuff, all of the space. There's a really good quote that I like. It's there's so much room for activities. That's how I feel about this screen right now. It just looks really
There's so
good.
much room for activities. Yes, I know the reference. I love you, man. That's so good.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Like really, really nice. I'm really happy with the way that this thing looks.
I had a friend jump next to me and try it out on a Mac, and I mean, one thing I'm super jealous. I'm not an Apple fan, but I'm just always jealous that you guys do have the best displays. When I say you guys, I mean whoever's listening who's an Apple person. Your displays and Retina, is so good. And so honestly, Windows just doesn't do justice for Mask. Whenever I see someone on a Mac using Mask, I'm like, oh man, it looks so good. Like just everything renders super crisp. The fonts look nice. Thank God our product designer is a Mac native too and develops everything on a Mac display with Figma. I mean, it does look beautiful.
I mean, you just gotta upgrade your screen, man. Not gonna lie. It makes a big difference when you get a high resolution screen, and you can get a Mac screen for your PC too. I mean, you can get a Retina display hooked up to your PC. It works. 144
I might do
DPI.
That. Yeah, I might just that might be the upgrade. I've been putting off hardware upgrades for a little bit until things get a bit cheaper, but I think it's time I invest in myself a bit more.
Well, I think the right terminology here is to treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. Treat yourself to some nice monetization.
I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to cheer you on and say, "Let's go, Corey! Do it, buy it."
All right, man. Well, when I do it, I'll leak or I'll just drop a picture of my new setup because I mean, I've got all the gear. I've got the privacy set up. I've got the Starlink to be kind of off the grid, centralized backup, all that stuff. So now I just need to upgrade my visual experience,
It's worth it. It's worth it. Coming from somebody that does have this G9 in front of me, it makes a big difference. It's gorgeous.
So that's a display, right? I actually don't know what the Samsung. It's a nice monitor you got, a G9. Is that like a gaming one?
It is an ultra wide 240 hertz display. It's a 5120 by 1440.
Holy moly! Is it curved?
A little bit.
Is that what she said too? I don't know. That sounds like a very easy joke there. It's a little bit curved.
It's oh boy. No, but it does look very, very pretty. And it changed my whole workflow. I got to be honest, because I love multiple screens, and I've done that for the longest time. But I find myself only using this screen because I split it into 3, and I got 3 windows on one screen, which is why I was saying it's going to look really good. Running Mask browser on this thing.
Well, that's so good. I'm gonna look at that because I guess the reason I was asking about curve is when you have a screen that big, you kind of want to make sure you've got enough desk space so you can kind of see it well.
Or you can't use me as an example. I have 7 screens in front of me right now.
Oh my God. Do you have them mounted in the wall? How do you manage that?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounted.
Oh my gosh. I need to upgrade okay, you've convinced me that I'm lacking in this area and I need to set myself up.
It's worth it. Now, I'm definitely going to post tonight. I just took a little screenshot just now so you can see what it looks like. Man, it is. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Posted.
Yeah.
Cool,
Once you go widescreen, you never go back.
Yeah, drop some cool like ideas on stuff I can get, or even DM me because yeah, I want to do that. I do feel handicapped if I'm on just a laptop or like a small screen because I usually have I have it widescreen. I'll have a bunch of windows open. I've got GitHub on one side, Discord, all sorts of stuff because I'm working with the team and all the time too. It's got to be efficient.
Yeah, draggable windows here.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Actually, when you've got all that real estate, you want to make sure you can use it. And one of our oldest wireframes was actually this concept where we showed a browser window open, and within it was 3 like mobile size sort of websites all in a line, like next to each other.
Yeah.
And that's the goal we want, where you can have multiple websites open on the same screen. Depending on how big your screen is, man, you could probably have a lot depending on the real estate you've got. So pretty cool.
No, it's definitely good stuff. I do enjoy this quite a bit. It's a whole new experience for me now with Mask on this big screen, man. I got to tell you, like it's a game changer.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna look into it.
Yeah, I pinned it up. If you're curious what it looks like, it's right there for you.
Awesome, man. I am going to check it out. But
you got no power, man. You got no power over there still, right?
Oh, well, I mean, we had the generator going. I think I'm not home right now, but I think I'm on the way back with more fuel, just in case. I think it's going to come back on. Hopefully it's coming back on by dinner time, or we'll be barbecuing tonight.
Oh, man. Well, you got to do what you got to do when it comes to making dinner. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's a good day for it, though. It's a nice summer day. I'm not going to make everyone on the Northern Hemisphere jealous, but it's like 85 degrees, sunny, hardly any clouds, not a lot of wind, enough just to kind of take the sweat off your back, but it is hot. It's hot.
No, 85 good day for barbecue. Perfect. 85 sounds just perfect. That's exactly where we want to be.
It is humid. But a few little things before I forget as well, because I'm kind of not in my normal setup for looking at all my notes and things. We've got a blog coming out with all of our highlights. It's actually really kind of was nice I actually needed help to kind of get the team to put together a list of actually how much we achieved last year. It was a banger of a year, the best ever for Mask for a lot of reasons. But then looking at all the stuff like in a list, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot that we actually did achieve. A lot of milestones hit, a lot of firsts, and a lot to be proud of. And just want to thank all of you listening, kicking off the year again with a thank you for supporting, believing in us, supporting our team, supporting me. Action, you've been a big catalyst for a lot of things. So I thank you, sir, for co-hosting along the way for all these months and watching us grow and helping us grow. And it's up and up from here, man. This year's going to be even better. I no doubt in my mind. So it's really cool. So I'm really excited to share that out soon. Just showing all that, and then a little, summary at the bottom of what our plans are to achieve for the first part of this year, as well.
Wait. Are you going to do any teasers as far as what's coming? Because that's what people want to know.
Yeah, it's going to be in there. It won't be hidden like the Maskmas seed word secrets. It's going to be, you won't have to search too hard. You just got to, if you just want to cheat, you can scroll to the bottom and have a look.
Got it. No, that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, and for people that aren't aware, like on the Mask.ai website, it's just mask.ai/blog. Corey does put out some really good articles that explains the ecosystem stuff as far as partnerships are concerned. There's a lot of information in there that I highly recommend you guys check out if you're wanting to keep up with what's going on. It's a nice read. Like if you need some relaxing time with information that matters, that's a good place to go. I'm gonna bother Corey this week and talk to him about structured data to make sure that we are getting the SEO going for the Mask website. But other than that, I think it looks beautiful.
Actually, I do. I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to tie you in. We actually have had a bit of quiet time to do more designs and stuff. And our product designer, who's also the one who designed the websites, that is something we were working on already behind the scenes, is kind of consolidating it. We put out maskbrowser.com not only to have a public product-facing site that obviously looks very, very nice. It's all about the browser and, kind of makes it a lot more easy for people who are brand new to say, oh, I understand what this is. It's a browser with Web3 and privacy built in. It's not all crypto techie. Our Mask AI site is the technical one, shows a lot more about us, our protocol. We're wanting to consolidate them. So SEO is obviously a big part of it, but making it all in one place too. So we're actually doing some work on that. That will also mean our blogs will merge. Like, it is a bit segregated too, and I don't like that either. So our historical blog stuff, we moved that from Medium a long time ago, and it's on Mask.ai. So like everything from probably Q3 last year prior, all that history is in that. And then our maskbrowser.com has like the newest stuff. That's where we're posting all our new blogs. We'll push all that together too into the maskbrowser.com one. So it'll make it easier for people to find out all that stuff. So we are working on that too. Yeah, it's important.
Love it. No, absolutely, it's important because I know that the people listening in, like, there's a lot of our faithful listeners are in here. You all know how to find Mask, but we want people that don't have no idea what Mask is to stumble upon it and go, I should try this thing. And this is definitely the way to do it.
Oh yeah, and that's a big push we're going to do too for some more content, some more long form stuff, educational stuff this year. It is part of our marketing strategy that we want to do. I'm looking at a lot of really good projects. I respect some of them are our partners, and really like how they approach that side of it. And so we want to help put out more info for our team, and then get partners to come in and help provide education too. For those who are listening as well, if you aren't followers of some of our fans or other like people we've done streams with, I managed to tee up a little wallet security live stream that Wallet Guard's going to do with a guy who's covered Mask a bunch of times, Ron BTC. He's actually quite a great guy, does some good content in that area. But yeah, he's been wanting to talk about wallet security, and I said, well, look, Wallet Guard's probably one of the best teams to talk about that. They're doing really well, got a great product, a great browser extension. We're looking to do some stuff with them formally, but you can actually go and tap into that live stream. I think it's 7:15 EST tomorrow, Thursday, and learn about protecting your wallets, protecting your security and your assets, because you got to do that nowadays more than ever. The hackers and hucksters and scammers are out there in full force. Some of them named Gary. They're everywhere.
I have on good faith that there are a lot of them named Gary. There's a main one, but there's plenty of them that are named Gary. I will tell you that.
He ruins that name for the world, I think, sadly.
I mean, it's just like, I think there have been, 2 children over the last 3 years named Karen. Yeah, same idea with Gary's.
Yeah, that's slowly going to be phased out of the top names list.
It's certainly going away. I mean, if I have anything to do with it, it's gone away for good.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been funny to watch all this stuff. It's amazing. But one last thing I'll plug as well. I managed to follow up with. We tried to do this Polygon grant last year. Polygon Build Round 1 or something like that. They had this vote thing on Joker Race, which I thought, sad to say, it was not very well done. It was a very badly put together platform, and basically almost all of our community wanted to vote. None of them could vote because for some reason none of their wallets qualified, even though they were active on Polygon. So they've honored a lot more people to a lot more project submissions to enter the actual grant phase, which is on Giveth. So we'll post out a couple of tweets or posts now, I guess it's called on X, about that. The link is live for our Giveth profile, which is in the process of being verified as well. And we're hopefully looking to get a lot of our community involved in that. And what that means is even $1, $2, $10, whatever, they're going to match grant funding from Polygon for projects who get other donations up to, I think, 10,000 Matic each, which is pretty nice. And I know we've got a strong community, so that'll go straight to development power. We'll talk more about that, but that's definitely something that we're going to do starting in the next few days. So please come in, and the voting phase is done. This is now, we're just asking for people to like, yeah, throw us a magic or two. The more the merrier, and it'll get us some funding from Polygon, because I think we deserve it. We're public good. We've chosen their blockchain. I've put a lot of feelers out and talked to some of their high up team about how they can support us, because I think we have a important part to play in their ecosystem. So we now got to prove it.
I don't think we're gonna have any issues getting that taken care of. This is exciting, man. I think that since the voting is done and it's a home stretch, I think that we can do a little campaign around this one without a problem. Make sure that we knock that out of the park.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So yeah, man, that's a big roundup of a lot of cool stuff. Actually, a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, for sure. So, and if people don't know where to go, what to do, where they can find Mask, where do they go?
Yeah, we'll do the roundup now of where to find out about us. Obviously, if you're new, easiest place to learn about us is to go to maskbrowser.com to check it out and download the browser now. So you can absolutely try out the browser. You can download it and use it, and then go to our Discord, discord.gg/mask. That's where you can get in chats with any of us. Talk to the team, test it out. If you get any little snags testing, you can jump in there. We got a user support team, which is super helpful. I'm always impressed at how much they do for the community and just talking through problems or tips. It's great. And yeah, and then follow us here, of course. Jump on our socials, talk about us, and looking forward to seeing us grow, guys.
Really excited, Corey. And that's the thing. Make sure you guys are out there talking about Mask, because the support that you guys have given is super awesome, but we want to make sure that Mask goes even further. So thank you guys so much, and we're going to definitely see you on the next time around.